Blockchain has no color prejudice, and blockchain is blind in terms of justice. So it just allows things to happen. And that's what's going to be so exciting, because if people are just given a fair chance, actually need aid. If you're given a fair crack at the whip and you just treated fairly, then actually straight business works. In Africa, they pay, in African countries, you say Africa just like it's one place, but, if you take the majority of countries in Africa, they're in double digits in terms of their interest rates. When you go and use cryptocurrency and it's blind, it doesn't have to be that way. And it doesn't mean that you use the most exploitative forms of microfinance to create benefit, because you know what? Your customers are also your stakeholders. They own your crypto. So they're your stakeholders, just like shareholders in a company that's based in the UK are all English, even if they have assets in Africa. So it's about being inclusive. Financial inclusion doesn't just mean giving education about finance. What financial inclusion means is you're actually part of the game. And that's what we're looking at here. And that's why people are going to have huge take up on it. And that's why they're going to give that necessary information they need to give to be able to get the services they want. And, the systems are in place and they're being developed. The technology is catching up with the desire. But, within the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to be shocked at what DeFi is going to produce.
And yeah, Anthony, can you speak a little bit about what crypto means for these sort of initiatives and to get funding?
It's a complete game changer. Let me be frank. From a person who's been doing business internationally and in Africa and I'll be the first to say, most probably not focusing so much on the vulnerable communities, because there's not enough guarantee. If I supply something, will I get my money back? Right now with crypto, it's when it started coming on board, right? Crypto has the ability to bridge a gap, right? In the sense that if someone is going to grow something and we know that they're going to give us something back, right? We are able to look at how best do we fund or put a funding structure, right, around their warehousing, the finances, right, without actually taking the money out and putting it in their hands. But we can put in inputs, right? We can put in the fertilizer. We can put in whether it's the education around it, right? And because Africa, as much as crypto is a new thing in Africa, or it's an emerging sector, right? Africa has been working with mobile money, like Chris said, right? Now, that literally bridges, that shows you just how adoptable this process is for Africa, right? Africa is ready for it. It's just a matter of the terminology. Africans, when they hear something say crypto, they think it's corrupt, right? So you have to make sure, when you say, it's how I like to say, how you term something, right, sounds different to the person who listens to it the first time, right? Now, when you say wallet to an African, wallet is a good thing. When you say coin, it usually means the thing you get given after you spent real money. So you can't go to them and say Bitcoin. Not everyone in the rural community is going to jump onto the rural. But you see, with Campay, the minute you say pay, everyone's listening up. Okay, fine. And Campay is saying, we're coming to say, with Africa Grain and Seed, and in the communities we work with, we've been in these communities. It's not our first time going in. It's not the first time we're talking to the schools. We've been giving during the COVID crisis in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, to as many communities as we could get to, right? And as much as we could give. But the added advantage of having to give with a partner. Now you say, Africa Grain and Seed is powered by Campay to give you more, right? And Campay is expecting you to do the exact same thing you're doing. But in this case now, your father or your parents now can grow this amount for us and put it back on. We are now introducing cryptocurrency, blockchain in their eyes. And this is where I'm seeing from what we're doing with just agricultural colleges or the rural schools, the ones that really need the assistance, right? They're coming on and saying, let's understand, how does this thing work? Now you see, because you're not going to educate everyone in Africa, right, on this crypto thing, because everyone who's in town or everyone who's educated about it, right, is not in the village. They're not your 50% of Africa. Let's be frank, right? Your 50% of Africa are sitting still in the vulnerable parts where everyone wants to go give something right. Now, it's made it easy for campaign to say, look, okay, fine, we're supporting the giving, right? Because if we invest with you in the giving, we know in the next 2 years, all the communities we're in will only talk about that crypto they understand, who's been there with them, which is where most cryptos have not been in Africa, in the sense that we understand it's a computer thing. Now, as many people who have computers or have phones, the loading, the paying, what it's paying you for seems a bit magical to them, right? Because it's a blockchain. It's somewhere in a computer. But when you start telling them, when you put this back in, what you grow there, well, we will give you the payment for that and put it on that wallet, right? Where you can put it, you can invest it in any currency you want, right? You're now teaching investment. You're now starting to teach the principles that have made the world adopt crypto so fast, right? And left Africa a bit in the back, right? Because we're still working with our own, we're still dealing with exchange rates. We're still dealing with how do I get my money to my grandfather in Zimbabwe? I'm sitting in South Africa, and when it gets there to him, well, how much will it be worth, right? And it's not that there's nothing that they have to give, but there's so much to produce, even mining. These are all sectors that Africa is sitting with, right? That could back most of the cryptocurrencies you're looking at. And in this case, I would say this, the first one to say is, Campaign would most be the first one to be adopted by most communities because they're there. You know, the rule of giving anything is how do you get there first?